Japanese mythology is rich in legends and strange creatures. Tokyo could be considered as a source and origin of many of them. Today, you will hear the story of Kuchisake Onna, meaning the slit-mouthed woman, a terrifying legend that, to this day, keeps causing panic among the youth of the most cosmopolitan city in Japan. Kuchisake Onna is the spirit of a woman who was murdered a long time ago by her husband, who slit her mouth with a sword, producing an open wound from ear to ear. Escaping from her rage is a difficult task. It is said that when an unfortunate person crosses paths with her, she simply stops in front of them and asks, "Atashi wa kirei desu ka?" which translate to, "Am I beautiful?" If they reply affirmatively, she will rip the mask she uses to cover her looks and ask, "Shoshite ima wa?" And now, if the victim screams, runs away, or shows any sign of fear, the woman will cut their face with a knife or scissors so they look like her. If the answer to the second question is also a yes, it won't make any difference, for the spirit will react in the exact same way so that her victim can experience her pain. If they live after the attack, they will inevitably die from the cursed wound provided by the Kuchisake Onna. It is said that many years ago, a beautiful woman married a famous and respectable samurai. Apparently, the woman was too promiscuous as she was stunning, besides having many suitors who would woo her, and despite her marriage, she would give in to the pleasures of the flesh with many of them. Her husband, who at first didn't know about his young wife's extramarital activities, found out about all the adultery episodes. The samurai entered in an unbelievable state of anger and attacked his wife, slicing her face from ear to ear as he yelled, "Do you think you're beautiful?" Once he was done slashing her mouth, the man asked, "Who will think you're beautiful now?" It is important to note that the woman died from the horrible wounds, leaving her husband with the burden of eternal guilt. It is said that after that moment, the woman came back to the earthly world as a yokai. Legend has it, you can see the spirit wandering around the streets of Tokyo wearing a surgical mask, which isn't surprising, given Japanese sanitary culture, seeking revenge against every man she can find. The legend of Kuchisake Onna has gone past the limits of the land of the rising sun, and it has become one of the most popular Japanese legends in the world. In 2004, this legend was popularized in South Korea, where she wears a red mask tainted by the blood that gushes from her wounds. She is known as Palgan Masuku Yoja, or the woman of the red mouth mask. When it comes to her origins, Korea has a different version. It talks a woman who was insecure on whether she would get plastic surgery on her face, but as she saw many women around her happy with the great results they've gotten, she decided to do it. After looking the results on herself, she got more surgeries, totaling 4. Everything about her face was perfect now, but she still saw she was missing something, a perfect mouth. However, her reliable surgeon got sick and was replaced by his trainee, yet she didn't hesitate and went for it. After the surgery, the unexperienced surgeon told her to wear a face mask for 3 days. The woman went home, very excited, and after the stipulated days have passed, she removed the face mask. She then discovered she didn't have the perfect mouth. Instead, there was a hideous slice from ear to ear. It was all because of the trainee's failed attempt. The woman committed suicide, and her body was never found. Since then, it is said that a woman with her face covered by a red face mask, like the one surgeons wear, which wouldn't be weird for regular people to wear in order to prevent diseases, goes around the streets of South Korea. When she encounters someone, usually men or children, she will ask the usual questions. Am I beautiful? To which the person can answer in two ways. The few who say no, for it is difficult to deny the beauty of an apparent pretty young woman, tend to suffer the rage of this ghost. Failing to get the answer she expected, she stabs them with scissors until they die in agony. If they otherwise answer with a yes, then the woman, as to put their honesty to a test, will move her hand towards her face and slowly remove the mask until showing her true face. Then she will ask again, "And now, am I beautiful?" If they say no, she'll get angry and kill them. However, if they say yes, the woman will rejoice in the success of her beauty and will give them a gift, taking her scissors and slicing their mouths, forming a smile that resembles hers so they can feel beautiful too. In other versions, she simply slices their throats. Despite all this, both Japanese and Korean versions of this legend claim there are certain ways of avoiding her revenge. If the person approached by her gives an ambiguous enough answer, for instance, beauty is relative, or answers with the same question, "Am I beautiful?" Kuchisake Onna will ponder on the meaning of the answer and will surely provide the victim with enough time to escape. Carrying candles and offering them to her can also work, since this act of kindness could appease her. Another way is to chant the word pomade 3 times. Doing it in such a way will work because she doesn't like pomade. There is another way to make Kuchisake Onna disappear, answering, "No, you're ugly and I don't want to be like you." Lastly, the easiest way to get rid of this monster is by replying, "I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry," to the first question. She will let them go away for using Japanese good manners. Those who visit Japan can find a country filled with numerous stories and millennial legends that reference the folklore of the place. Kuchisake Onna is one of those stories that cannot stop inducing chills to every person who hears it, both locals and tourists. If you travel to Tokyo, you have just been warned against walking on its lonely streets at night, for you may encounter a beautiful woman with her mouth covered who will ask, "Atashi wa kirei desu ka?" You know what you have to do, although the best choice in this situation is to avoid making eye contact and politely tell her you're in a hurry. Otherwise, Kuchisake Onna will slice your face and make you suffer as she once did.